Hi guys, today we're going to react to a video that's called Two Nightshift Horror Stories Animated. Now this is by Shiny Ghost Animations. I was browsing to see what animation should I react to, and I found this one and it interests me, so we're going to react to this. Two things before we start this video. I want to say thank you guys for 66 subscribers. We are growing as a family, and I want to do better with the schedule. I know I've been gone for like a while. About 12 days or something like that, and I want to do good with the schedule. So we will see what this video is all about. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel if you like content like this. If y'all want to request a video you want me to react to, link it in the comments below, and make sure you share with friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and we will see what this video is all about.
My name's Ethan. I have worked at my local big-name burger place since I turned 16. It started as simply being a job to put gas in my car and buy video games, but before I realized it, I was 22 and the store's newest assistant manager. Even though now I'm 28 and the manager of 3 of the local franchise's restaurants, this tale will take place at the time I had just become the assistant manager of the one. So, like I said, I'm 22 and a brand new member of the management team. Although I've been working days for the last 5 years, my shifts would now be nights. It took a slight adjustment, especially in my sleep, to get used to the change, but not long after, I grew to prefer nights and the staff that came with them. My boss, the night manager, was a laid-back dude, and we were able to get away with most anything as long as we got our work done. He'd usually dip at about 11 to go see his girl and leave me to close the restaurant. Since we weren't one of the stores that stayed open past midnight, I didn't mind being on my own to run things. To be honest, we didn't often have many customers, if any, after he left. We tried to have most of the closing work done by then, so we could screw around until it was time to close up. I won't get too specific about our activities, but I will say there wasn't much work being done. The night shift I have in mind was nothing out of the ordinary. The boss left around 10:45. We would close the dining area at 10, and once he was happy that it was cleaned and restocked, he took off like usual. The rest of us split up to do our thing. Normally we would have 2 people take out the trash and 1 person stand at the door and watch. This was considered a safety measure to avoid letting a backdoor robber slip in when no one was watching. However, as you can probably guess, we weren't exactly sticklers for the rules, and we rarely did this. That night, Adam, or so we'll call him, was the team member that took out the trash just before close, and as far as I know, he saw no reason to be scared when he did it. He left the door open while he did this because it would automatically lock when shut, another of those safety measures. If you let it lock behind you, you'd be stuck outside and have to pound on it until someone inside decided to let you in. A universally hated situation. Like I said, the door was stuck open while he took the trash to the dumpster, and I just happened to be by the door checking on the mop or something. I'm not sure why I looked outside, but I noticed Adam running as fast as possible for the door. When he noticed I was watching, he began yelling, "There's a dude in a mask running for the door." This took a second to compute, but when it did, I almost soiled myself. I knew what he was planning on doing, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. Luckily, Adam was halfway to the door when he saw the guy, and I was already ready to slam the thing shut once he got in. I was holding it only about halfway open and yelling at him to hurry because I could see that the dude in the mask was incredibly close. As Adam reached the door and jumped inside, the robber attempted to stick his foot and hand into the doorway to stop me from closing it. As I pulled it closed, I tried to make it so hard that the dude's foot and hand would be hurt, and he'd instinctively yank them back. He must have been tougher than I thought, because despite slamming his body parts in the big steel door, he continued to yank his way in. By stomping on it, we managed to get him to yank back his foot pretty quickly, but his hand was still wedged in, and what I hadn't noticed before was the pistol waving around in it. I was terrified that he'd pull the trigger and hit one of us. So we let go of the door, but I guess he didn't think of it. But this time, 3 of the team, including me, were pulling on one small handle bolted to the door. I had initially thought that we would have the advantage, but at least I was getting exhausted, fighting to hold the door. As for him, the gap was getting wider and he was almost able to fit both of his arms in. To my relief, about that time, one of the girls grabbed the full coffee pot and poured the whole thing over his hand. He instantly started screaming, and despite not wanting to do so, he pulled both of his hands out of the doorway and the door slammed shut. It did so hard, 2 of us fell back onto the floor. During our melee, another employee had called the police. They must have arrived in record time, because I know the fight for the door hadn't lasted more than a minute and a half, and I could see them driving up as he ran past the drive-thru window. We all stood and watched as they cuffed him and pulled the mask from his face. We all gasped when we saw that he was actually in fact a former employee, Andre, who had been fired a few months before for showing up to work so drunk that he was unable to do his job. It made sense that it was a former employee. The thief knew we'd be slacking off and not paying attention. It would give him the best chance to get the money before I dropped it into the safe for the night. I opened the door and let in 2 of the officers. We sat in the dining area and talked about what had just happened. I did my best to relay the events, and once they finished with me, they talked to a few of the others that had seen the whole incident. After they got all the info they needed, they let us go. On my way home, I called my boss to inform him of the night's entertainment. Considering what occurred, we decided that in the future we should perhaps be somewhat more observant of the rules when it came to safety. We by no means wanted to take the fun out of the night shift, but it seemed wise to follow safety rules in order to hopefully prevent the near tragedy we almost had that night. And, at least for the rest of my time at that restaurant, we practiced the safety rules the way they were intended when they were written, but we still continued to have a good time in between. Andre ended up doing some time in jail. At least a year from what I've heard. He's doing more right now because of another robbery he did where the guy with him actually did shoot somebody. It's a strange thing to think back on. He's always seemed like a nice dude. I've moved up and on in the company since then and done my best to make my stores a fun but safe environment to work in. I probably have forgotten about the whole thing, but I just read about a fast food place not far from me being robbed and the manager being killed. Turned out to be the guy I knew from the first store I worked in. It reminded me how important it is to be safe and careful in our business. Always remember to watch your 6 and keep your head on a swivel. Good night, y'all, and keep safe.
I got a job as a police officer a few months ago. For my first year or so, I'm expected to work the overnight shifts and do 3 12-hour shifts a week. It's totally brutal, especially given that the worst things happen at night. It's only my 3rd month on the job, and I already have a nightmarish story to tell. I was patrolling around my designated route, 2 or 3 in the morning, absolutely no cars to be seen on the road at all. Most of my route was dark since there was a lot of forest in our town. And then there would be one long street called Warren Street, one of the only streets lit up by streetlights around here. All the stores at this hour were closed, of course, so there was very little going on at this time. I took the left turn off a quieter road onto Warren Street. I drove slow, always looking on both sides of the road to see if anything was going on in any of the parking lots. I picked up on something strange as my car zoomed past a coffee shop parking lot. I brought the car to a halt with a heavy stomp on the brakes, and brought it to a reverse until I got back to the parking lot. I rolled down my window and stuck my head out to confirm my eyes weren't playing tricks on me. The lights in the coffee shop were on, which was beyond bizarre. The shop always closed at 6 p.m. on weekdays. I knew because I was a frequent there and I knew the owner personally. I pulled up to the curb and figured I'd go check the door. When you know it, the door was unlocked. I pushed the heavy glass door open and stepped into the shop, calling the owner's name. Something about my voice echoing into an empty coffee shop at 3 in the morning was freaky as hell. It gave me shivers just wondering why the lights were on. I kept calling the owner's name until I heard a sound come from the basement. I didn't even know there was a basement until that day. I found a door that led downstairs to a dark abyss. I unholstered the flashlight on my belt and aimed it down the stairs. I knew deep down it was my job to go down there and investigate, even though I was really afraid to. There wasn't a light switch to be found, so I made my way to the bottom of the concrete stairs, not able to see much outside of the narrow beam of light that my cheap-ass police flashlight projected. I was at the bottom of the stairs now, looking around the pitch-black basement of the shop. Then there was the sound again, only this time much louder. It sounded like some kind of half electronically produced and half organically produced sound. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's really the best way I can describe it. It came from the back room. I stepped into that back room, which appeared to be an office of sorts. I just stood there, waiting for the sound again. I might have stood there for 30 seconds, until the same exact sound erupted from the corner of the room. It was a terrible, distorted kind of sound. It apparently came from inside an air vent in the corner. First thing I did was try to shine the light into the vent, but it didn't really work. The grill blocked any amount of light that would actually light up the inside of the vent. What I did next was put my ear up to the vent to try and listen for anything that could be inside. I heard something in there. I was 80% sure what I was hearing was the sound of someone breathing. My heart started racing even faster than it was 10 seconds ago. I tried one more time to see into the vent, this time angling the flashlight a little differently and pressing one eye up to the vent grill. I guess the light beamed off the grill of the vent at just the right angle, because I saw the glow of an eye literally 4 inches from my face. I unholstered my gun as I shouted at the person in there to come out now. But as I tried the vent door, it seemed to be screwed on still. I could hear the person shimmying away through the vents until the sound was completely gone. Where did that vent lead to? How did they get in there? Why were they in there? What was that strange noise? So many questions that still remain unanswered. I called for backup, and we did a thorough investigation. We called the owner, who came by to help us search the place at like 4 in the morning. There were no signs of breaking and entering anywhere. Not a single unscrewed vent, not a single broken window, nothing. Our investigation didn't last more than a few hours, after which we determined whoever was in the vents was gone. The thing that scares me the most is the sounds that I heard. Not just the breathing from the vent, but that sound that was emitting from the vents. That sound that could be heard all the way from the upstairs of that shop.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna do it bye. For the first story, you have to take your job seriously. I know y'all wanna have fun and all that stuff, but y'all gotta have to abide by the rules. Like, because that was a close call, because you may never know. Like, that employee was crazy because he came up there trying to do harm. He had a gun. He was trying to rob the place. He was trying to basically try to do harm on y'all. So, yeah, that's first. Second thing is that if you are gonna do like a night shift job, take it seriously. Like, I know y'all want to have fun and all that stuff, but still, abide by the rules. For that second story, I could not be a police officer, because if I hear some or feel something that's simply wrong, I would have just ran. I would have ran. I would not stay there or anything. I would have just ran, for real. Because don't investigate. Do not investigate. If you hear something, run. Don't investigate. If you are going to investigate, at least have a weapon or have somebody with you. I would have freaking ran. I don't care if I'm a police officer. at least have somebody so you make sure you're not going crazy. I feel like that shop is haunted, or it was just like a crawl space, or they just screw back the vents, or it's just haunted. Between those three, but the other part, take your job very seriously, because there are crazy people that will come up here and just want to do harm on y'all. And the second story, again, I would have peed my pants if I heard something like that. I would think that somebody was in the vents, but then I'm gonna think that it's haunted. I feel like it was gonna be haunted to me. It's haunted. It's haunted. It's haunted. It's haunted. Or it could be somebody in there, but why is their eyes red? So it could be haunted, or somebody was on something. But make sure you subscribe to Shiny Ghost Animation. Like, I like the animation. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I may link their channel down below, so y'all can find their channel. Because those two stories was good, and that animation was good. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Yeah, those two was good. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm lost for words. I knew it was gonna be good, but I did not know it was gonna be that good. So make sure y'all subscribe to Shiny Gold and Gold Animation, because they need all the support they need for the other animations they're gonna make. Because I may do some more of these animations, just like Onesie and Entity, and I was thinking about doing llama arts, but I don't know. I may do it one day. One day when I get really into YouTube. I'm still like, still new on YouTube, but we are going to. I'm thinking about what the world. I was just thinking about something, but I forgot. Oh, I was thinking about react to some reality TV shows. So if y'all have any ideas for me to react to, make sure y'all link it in the comment section below. I also really want to thank y'all for 60 subscribers. Let's keep that going. Let's keep it going. The main goal is to 500 subscribers. Then we can make it all the way to 1K. But yes, make sure y'all subscribe to this channel if you like content like this. Like the video and comment and share with friends, because I may do more of these. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.